The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim. My guest today is British television and film actor Howard Corlett, a black belt in the Korean martial art Hapkido. Howard has been a professional actor for 15 plus years, with TV credits including Outlander, Victoria, Emmerdale, The Rook, and EastEnders, as well as Doctors, to name but a few. Howard honed his skills originally as a tourism rep in Spain when he was working in the cabaret industry and realized that he had a love for dance and performance. Howard joins me in the studio today. This is the Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim. Let's talk art.
Online, on the iOS and Android, on your mobile phones. Great speakers conversation around the globe. This is Relaks Radio.
Relaks Radio.
It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relaks Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relaks Radio. Tune in to Relaks Radio.
The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim, and I'm joined today with a very special guest in the studio, TV and film actor, Mr. Howard Corlett. Howard, you're on the air with us.
Hello.
Thanks so much for joining us today, Howard.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. Great to have you here. Wow, what an interesting life you've led. You originally, I was reading that you were originally involved in the tourism industry way back when.
Way back when, yeah, my youth. So, yeah, after school and university, I got involved in the tourism travel world and lived in Spain for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And worked over there as part of that. I was working as an entertainer and a rep.
Nice.
And yeah, and then I went traveling for a year around the world and then got back into the tourism industry, sort of doing contracting, going overseas, looking for hotels and contracting, supply management, that sort of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And when you were working in Spain, like when you started doing the cabaret stuff, did this then kind of ignite a memory that you had from when you were younger of hey, I like doing performance and stuff like that?
I think so. I always had a love for dance. So even at school, love doing robotics, breakdancing back in the day. And then, yeah.
Nice.
And then when I went to uni, I wanted to get into dance. Actually, when I was much younger, I sort of asked my mum if I could go into tap dancing, and Roy Castle, he had sort of inspired me. But
Okay.
I did all these other sports, and in the end, I just didn't have enough time. But that's sort of one regret I didn't do when I was younger.
Yeah.
But so when I went to uni, it's like, right, I'm definitely going to get some lessons now. So I got into, they had a Latin and a ballroom team, so I got into that. Got all the sparkle on. Strictly Come Dancing. Way before Strictly Come Dancing was even
before Strictly.
twinkle in an eye of a producer. There was me.
There was Howard in Liverpool. Did you grow up in Liverpool?
On the Wirral, which is over the water from Liverpool. But yeah, part of Merseyside. Overlooking Wales actually. So it's a little peninsula in between Liverpool and Wales.
Oh, nice.
By the sea.
Yeah, I must visit it someday. I've been
It's
close
a little
to there.
jewel.
The jewel of England.
Well, I think so. I'm biased. Yeah, no, I think it's a magical place. Looking back, growing up there, I was very lucky, obviously, by the sea. I really missed that, I must say, living in London. Ever since I left there, I miss being by the sea. I have to sort of go back for my fix. But then you had two very different cities, very close. You had Liverpool, it's like 15-20 minute drive, and then you've got Chester, sort of about half an hour away. Very different. You got the Welsh Hills. I could go on. I should work for the Merseyside Tourist Board.
You can tell that he used to work in tourism, I think. No, that's great though, and I'm curious now. When you were working in tourism and you were working overseas and stuff like that, did you get a kind of a calling to go back to the UK and did you want to live here again and stuff like that, or was it more to do with when you discovered that you wanted to go back into or to go into performance?
So after uni, it was a time early 90s when we were sort of going through a recession, really.
Yeah,
And yeah, I loved languages, I loved travel, and I thought, well, it was like I sort of fell into it as a summer job, really. Think I'll do this for 2 months, and then suddenly 2 years later, I'm still doing it, and it's quite addictive, actually. It was a lot of fun.
yeah,
You're living in the sun, you're sort of having a great time. But I knew it wasn't sort of a long whole thing I wanted to do. There was a chance of sort of going up the ranks overseas, but it was like, no, this wasn't for me. So I needed something good to pull me out of that, which is then I did a around the world trip. So
wow.
um,
Where did you go? Everywhere.
everywhere.
I went around the world.
Well,
Dom.
yeah, literally around the world. Not everywhere, but I've actually worked out, clocked up about over 60 countries so
Wow,
far.
that's
Well, I'd like to
impressive.
get to 100 by the end of it, if I can.
By the end of it,
Once lockdown finishes, get out there.
good plan.
Sorry, I probably went off track. What you asked me
No, I was
about
just saying, like,
igniting.
yeah, did it ignite your? Did you when you were overseas working in Spain and were you just kind of like, I need to go back to the UK for my career now, or
Yeah, I knew it was a temp. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So this is another thing with the dance. Like for years after year, I was thinking even after uni, right, I'd like to be a professional dancer and
yeah,
looking into that. And I'd have this conversation with myself. Saying, oh, it's a short career when you have to, when you have the money from it, some of the happiness and joy comes out of it.
yeah,
It's different. All this, then you go, okay, I'll leave that. I'll stick to a normal career and just enjoy it as a hobby.
yeah,
And then every sort of year or so, this little voice would come back and tap me on the shoulder, and we'd have the same conversation again. I thought I dealt with you. And I said, no, I'm back again. And that happened time and time again. But so when I came to London and I kind of fell into sort of doing musical theatre, and then that grew into acting. When that bug came, I kind of learned my mistakes from not listening to myself. It's like,
yeah.
okay, listen to yourself now. And then, yeah, the
And
rest is
where
history.
when you were growing up, I mean, were your parents artistic?
They both met at art school, actually.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so both your parents were going to art school.
Yeah, they weren't sort of acting. I was always painting and drawing, and my
Yeah,
mum went into textiles and things like that. So yeah, as a kid, yeah, used to draw and paint. Although I'm sort of very active, energetic as a kid, I didn't really like sitting down for too long. Um, so I was sort of very active and sporty as well.
nice, nice, nice. And your father?
Well, in terms of
Was he what type of artist was he? about that. And so then when you got back to the UK, you said that you were then working in musical theater and you started getting involved in musical theater. What was the crossover from when you were like, okay, I love dancing, I'm doing dancing, to starting to go, well, actually, maybe I want to start exploring acting more.
I was doing salsa. I was going to Pineapple Performing Arts School. Well, actually, Pineapple Studios in Covent Garden, dancing there, doing various classes, and then one of
Okay.
them was salsa. I had a girlfriend that I was dancing with, and she was doing musical theatre on the side, and she sort of got me involved in it and said, "Oh, we need this guy who can dance a bit, and do you fancy it?" I was like, "Yeah, okay." So I turned up at the first rehearsal, and she wasn't there. She was traveling work with in the States or something, and I came in late, couldn't find the place,
Yeah.
and the lady who sort of organised it. I was like, "Who are you playing?" I don't know. I'm just the guy doing a bit of dance, and suddenly I was sort of in the middle of everyone. They were giving me sheets of music. I was singing along. I think, what's going on here? And giving me a role. I was like, how did that happen? But then, that just sort of, it was a spark that got things going. And then I started doing more study in it on the weekends, dancing, singing, acting. And then the acting side grew. This is what I wanted to focus on, then specifically studied that, went to workshops and courses on the side when I was working full time.
Brilliant.
Till a point when, as I say, I listen to myself and go, nah, I don't want to do that anymore. This is what I want to do.
Yeah. Nice. I love that. I mean, it's just so important to pay attention to that. To that inner voice. That inner voice that when it speaks to us.
Well, and this goes back to
Massive.
spirituality.
Yeah, it does.
I say this last year, doing a lot of study, on Tantra, the weekly course, and Eastern mysticism, sort of a study of creation, Shaivism, and a lot of it is about focusing, expanding your consciousness, listening to yourself, being conscious. And most people, we're all, me as guilty as the next person. Most of our life we're unconscious. I mean,
absolutely. Well, we're conscious, but we're not conscious that we're unconscious.
Passive. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think there's been studies, something like we're 99% what we do is unconscious. A lot of that is obviously physically. We're not thinking, oh, my kidney, I need to get that working. It's doing it unconsciously.
Yeah, exactly.
But most things. So, and then you look at the ancient people that the ancient fakirs. I think they could stop their heart. They could stop their organ. They had so much consciousness about themselves. They can control themselves, and ultimately, that's what spirituality is. In my eyes, is having that control, so you can direct your life.
Yeah, direct your life and direct your energy as well. Because obviously, where you put your energy, where your attention goes, the energy goes. So they say. So I hear they say. And if you're not conscious of what you're thinking about and what you're putting your energy into, then, as you say, you're living unconsciously. You're not really aware of what you're actually focusing on a daily basis, which is just, it's one of the keys, I think, to spirituality and to getting in tune with yourself.
Well, you think sometimes you can go through a week. It's like, what happened there? Where did that go? And you're on this. You're a passenger on a train, sort of just being taken through life. You've got to do this. You've got to get this done. You've got to do the job. You've got to speak to them. You've got to sort that. You've got to everything's sort of doing and sort of just on this roller coaster, doing or getting. Having. I need this. I need that. Rather than just being, which is our fundamental nature. Hence, human being.
Absolutely. We are human beings. We are not human doings.
Exactly.
As I think it was Oscar Wilde said that. Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of Oscar Wilde quotes at the moment for some reason. I must do a show about him at some point. Guys, we're talking to Howard Corlett today. He's a very interesting guy and a friend of mine, and also a film and TV actor and martial artist as well, which we'll go into a little bit after the break. Please join us then. We'll be right back after this short break for more art and spirituality. Thank you.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292 আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim, and I'm back here with my special guest is Howard Corlett. Howard, you're on air with us.
Great to be here. Yeah, lovely to chat with you.
Yeah, thanks William, for joining us today. It's so interesting talking to you, because I think you have so much more experience than I do, and that's enlightening for me.
I don't know about that.
Well, you've more life experience.
You mean I'm older?
Yeah.
There you go. We got down to it in the end.
We got there in the end. I don't know though. What do you think about the whole reincarnation thing? Do you think we've had many lives before and all that kind of jazz?
That's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
That's my line of thinking now. As I say, that where I'm at with the studying spirituality now, that's sort of in line with the Eastern traditions.
Yeah. I think
And sorry to interrupt.
go ahead.
Just and then this goes back to what life is about and our purpose in life. And I did a workshop actually during lockdown. A weekend with the art of dying.
Wow,
that's a bit morbid. Like lockdown wasn't bad enough. I'm gonna look into dying. But this is in the West. It seems as this taboo subject we don't talk about.
Yeah.
In the East, it's like the most important day of your life in a way, particularly if you're then going to live another life
and going on to the next one, the next part of the journey.
And what we do in this life determines where we go next. So it's the day you die is your graduation day. So if you've studied well, if you've lived well, then you graduate.
You'll graduate onto the next level, I guess.
Yeah, and so going back to what your purpose and what life is about, we have to ask these questions because for me it is about learning lessons and about growing and they talk about you have two births, don't you? The day you sort of pop out your mum, your flesh physical birth, and then the second is that's when your soul awakens, that sort of spiritual birth.
Nice.
And I think if you don't you go through college and you haven't learned your lessons, then you don't graduate, you come back down and do the same year. So I kind of think it's like that.
Yeah, I mean, from a spiritual point of view, I had a guest on the show last week, Marta Jimenez Barco, and she's a Kundalini teacher in Madrid, and she was saying, just talking about things to do with that exact thing, and and also Kate Griffiths, who was on the show on Monday, was saying about lockdown. The reason we're going into a second lockdown spiritually is because we didn't learn the lessons that we needed to learn in the first one. So I was like, oh, that's quite an interesting way to look at it. Obviously, there's the whole virus and all that as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
That's obviously a huge factor in there. But yeah, it's interesting because they do say if you don't learn your lessons in life, that yeah, you're gonna live a similar life in the next one, following this reincarnation
Yeah.
train of
And,
thought.
and the great thing is, well, the ancients, they've all known about the law of resonance and vibration and frequency and energy. And now that science is playing catch up and coming up with this, the great minds of Tesla and Einstein, they're sort of saying, yeah, everything's about energy and vibration and frequency and
Yep, yep,
holographic universes and quantum physics and the like is sort of coming up with things which just mirror ancient spirituality.
exactly,
Um,
exactly. Ancient spirituality is now science is now catching up to ancient spirituality, and they're starting to say, oh look, this is the thing, and it's like, yeah, but we knew that was a thing, or it was known that was a thing, like 2,000 years ago. I mean, look at geometry.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You
Well, the
know,
sacred geometry, that features a lot of the sort of the Shaivism course I do. But you look at modern life compared to how they used to live. They weren't distracted by your 300 TV channels and all the sports and your Premier League you got on every week, and then your job that you spend 60 hours a week doing,
yep,
and those three kids you've got to look after and take to their school and take to their clubs and take to their birthday parties. We've got so much distracting us, keeping
yep,
us busy.
yep.
Whereas back in the day, they, they just sat and meditated and looked at the stars, but somehow they got it. And again, going back to what life is about, I think you do have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of this? Is it just to have a job and to procreate and then die, or is it a lot more than that?
Yeah, is there something more than what we're doing on our kind of automatic brain, our monkey brain, which is just get up and do.
Yeah, and I think what they call it the was it the secret non-secret. You kind of think it's this mysterious thing, but actually it's out in the open and everybody knows about it. All the ancient spiritual traditions and religions cover it really. Even on was it the Temple of Apollo in Greece, it's got know thyself,
Yep,
and that is it. It's know who you are in your relationship with the universe and the supreme consciousness or whatever you believe in as sort of that fundamental essence of life. So that's what it is, and we don't have that time to just be with ourselves or know ourselves. We're just too busy. It's all if I don't do the yoga or present or meditation in the morning,
yeah,
it's very hard to find a time in the day because once I'm up, I'm bang bang, I'm onto this and that and this and
yep.
emails. I mean, I've got to reply to that. I've got to you get
Hustle,
caught up in,
hustle.
in life.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's so important to take that time, to have some stillness and just to listen to yourself, just to stop what you're doing. Focus on the breathing. Maybe you have like a nice little affirmation that you can say to yourself, and just to stop the mind chatter, and just to tune into yourself for a moment. Now, I'm
Mm.
interested to ask you, do you think that there is a global shift at the moment in consciousness? Do you think that there's a global shift towards more spiritual way of living, through meditation, through mindfulness, but also through connecting to our higher selves? Do you think that's happening at the
Absolutely. Well,
moment?
in my experience,
Yeah,
and obviously things you put attention to, you draw to you, so you meet other people who are, and you're more aware of it. But yeah, I think speaking to people and seeing what's out there, even mindfulness apps and stuff like
big
but
time.
but you look at holistically, growth and things and energy work and Reiki and meditation and yoga.
Yeah,
I know but yoga's been bastardized a bit in the West, and
it has.
it's a fitness thing as opposed to a spiritual tool. But
Yeah,
definitely, you know,
there is a spiritual element to it still. I mean, I think you can still find, you can still take that either that time at the beginning of the class or that time at the end of class where you do lie down and you do have this this 1 minute meditation, and that can be
hmm,
Okay, while it is a physical thing, but it can also be a mental thing as well. Where you
Hmm.
just where you're stopping, or where you're starting your practice.
But I think it's great, that this is happening, and it's evolving, and from all levels, and you're hearing about kids being taught meditation at school. I think it's
That's
wonderful.
brilliant.
You think traditionally in school they just taught you mental stuff and maths, and it's just all
A language or whatever. Yeah.
all these subjects. They don't teach you how to be a human being,
No, no. Well, they didn't. They
empathy,
didn't. Now,
compassion.
now it is coming in. I think
Yeah.
now it is coming in. There's definitely movement in the UK. I mean, I've got a friend, for example, in Birmingham, and she's involved in a mindfulness course there, and I've got other friends in Madrid who are teaching mindfulness in the schools there. So I think it is. That's what I mean. I think there is a shift, and I think things are starting to move in that direction. It's not going to happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, but I think there is a bit of a snowball effect, and it is starting to come through. It is starting to become more acceptable. Like if you mentioned yoga to somebody 10, 15 years
Hmm.
ago, that was considered very, oh, what's yoga? Whereas now it's a lot more accessible. It's a lot more accepted.
It's the same as like back in I don't know, the 90s, jogging. Jogging was quite a new fad. Uh, but yeah, it goes back down to frequency and energy. We are just antenna basically resonating, and so you match with other resonances. So it
Definitely.
emits, and so it's expanding, which is good.
Definitely, definitely. Now, I'm curious to find out a little bit about your martial art, Hapkido,
Hmm.
because of course, Hapkido uses energy.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. I mean,
How did you get involved in that particular martial art? And can you tell us a little bit about it?
so it's a Korean martial art, and it's very practical. It's kind of an all rounder, really. You you got all the different martial arts got their different specialities, but that's sort of it covers a lot of bases. Um, it means so hap is sort of harmony, coordination, ki or chi, is energy, and then do is sort of a way of doing so. It's the art of coordination.
Yeah,
So it's a sort of lot of theories of sort of dynamics and circular motion so
I like this circular motion.
circle,
Yeah,
water, coordination. They're sort of three principles of Hapkido. So it's not about using your strength; it's sort of using balance with the other opponent.
yeah,
But yeah, so yeah, it covers a lot of kicking and striking and throwing and joint locks and pressure points and break falls yeah.
interesting, interesting. I'm curious to know.
How I got into it? I
I
didn't
am,
answer you.
yeah.
I answer the questions I want to answer.
But I was gonna say, but that's true. But I was gonna say, I'm curious to know why you chose
Yeah.
Hapkido over a different martial art.
Yeah, well, I hadn't been aware of it. The main ones, karate and jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it was something, it was what was always on a to-do list, and I hadn't got around to it. And then as an actor, it's a useful tool to have.
Yeah.
Also for life, it's a useful tool to have. And there was an actor friend who I knew who did a lot of martial arts, and I was chatting to him about recommendations, and he said he would wanted to then start Hapkido because I was thinking about Krav Maga. You saw it in a lot of films, and it's practical. But what
Yeah.
what I liked about Hapkido is it's a martial art, so it's got the history, it's got the philosophy, it's got the culture behind it, rather than just a fighting style.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you've got the discipline in there, which is great. And yeah, I started it, and again, you just chip away at it, week by week, and then so many years later, you got a black belt. And so it's like anything in life, you just got to start, and little by little, you'll get to where you need to be.
The journey, the
The
journey,
journey.
the journey of life. I think it's really interesting. Martial art. I remember you were telling me a little bit about it, and you were saying that it uses elements of taekwondo, it
Hmm.
uses elements of judo, and yeah. So I like that it has these different elements in it, but it also has the philosophy but behind it.
Yes, so like Aikido, they'll sort of want the opponent to overcommit, so then you sort of can redirect their energy and,
Yeah,
and and then and then use techniques, whereas it doesn't sort of cater for close quarter combat. And Hapkido's got that, and Jiu-Jitsu, that's got joint locks and
yeah,
and throws. Judo's got the throws like Hapkido. Kung Fu's got that sort of quick hand parrying, sort of circular stuff. And
Yeah.
so yeah, there's a lot of mixture that sort of caters for, but useful for long distance attacks, but also short distance.
Very interesting. And I know that you did use it recently. You were telling me you used it recently for something.
Not in real life, I didn't.
No, in a
Oh, for an audition? No.
for an acting role, I believe it was.
Well, it was an audition I had. They wanted you to have a martial art.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, I really want to talk to you about some of your TV roles,
Okay.
and we're going to do that after this short break. So please join us then, and we'll be right back after this. Thanks so much.
Relax Radio. Whoa, Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
We're back. The Art and Spirituality Show. And my special guest today is film and TV actor and motion capture performer, Mr. Howard Corlett. Howard, you're back on air with us.
Thanks for keeping me here, or kicking me out.
I've stopped you from leaving. You can tell we can tell if I just show you guys. You can tell the way the studio is set up. Howard would actually have to go beyond me to get out. So I'm not letting him out. Letting him out.
Plus the ball and chain you made me put on before.
There's always the ball and chain. Janis Joplin lent it to me. I supplied it. But yeah, so I know that you've done. I know that you've done a good bit of motion capture work, and this was something you were telling me the other day that it wasn't something that you necessarily studied. You just kind of fell into it, and you learned on the job.
Yeah, pretty much. So over the years, I've done bits and pieces with it randomly, and then I did a video game about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And then the last 2.5 years, I've been working on a video game as the player character in a sort of first person, which has been great because you're in every scene. So then you're doing lots there, and it's a little bit different rather than just doing the motion capture. You even though I'm not voicing the character, that's going to be a voice actor. You're acting in it, but you're also the camera, so you've got to be aware of
Interesting.
You can't just be sort of free as an actor to do what you want. You think, I need to be looking here at this point.
Okay, interesting. That's cool. That must be really must be challenging, but it must be quite dynamic to do as well.
Yeah, and then you get used to it, and you're just wearing a few hats at the same time. But yeah, I love it. It's great. You're escaping in this imaginary world, and yeah, you immerse yourself in it.
Great skill to have. Great skill to have, and it means that you can,
It can,
as you say, you can wear these different hats.
yeah, it can be very physical, and generally, quite a few people ask me, how do I get into motion capture, and it's like chicken and egg, and there isn't necessarily one way into anything.
Yeah, yeah,
And often it's you've worked on a job and then they call you back, or you've worked with somebody who brings you. Things happen organically,
of course I do.
but generally they want you to have physical skills. So because some of the work can be really physical. For a lot of the character stuff, if you play video games, they want you sort of walking here, running there, jumping here. So you've got
Yeah,
to do all these cycles.
yeah.
They call locomotion. And I've done I did a war one last year, which is for 5 days full on, sort of 8 hours, like highly physical,
Wow.
vaulting and sliding, running, picking up these heavy guns, pulling guns, and just me and another actor. And it was either him or me on, or both of us together. It was like relentless, but a lot of fun. But I'd known I'd done a day's work after that.
Yeah,
But,
you
but
can feel it.
yeah, so that generally, they want you to have some sort of physical background, whether it's dancing or martial arts or some sort of special skills or stunts or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you obviously enjoy it if you keep doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. But as an actor, you kind of need a few strings to your bow, really.
Yeah,
Everybody knows very, very few actors are just going from job to job to job.
exactly.
Most of the job in actors, but also I like the diversity of it. I like the mix of doing TV or doing film or doing motion capture or doing some voice work or doing theatre. Again, the variety is the spice of life.
The variety is
I
the
don't know who
spice of
said
life.
that, but someone did.
Well, I
Well,
think
I'm going to nick it.
you've just said it today, Howard. You've just said it today, and I know that you've got so many TV credits as well. Let's talk about Outlander. I mean,
Mm.
that's one that stands out for me. How did you get involved in that in the first place, and what was your experience like working on that show?
Yeah, amazing. It's a huge show. It's a worldwide show. I don't know what series they're on now. I think 5 or 6. And yeah, I auditioned for actually a French character. So this is where
Yeah, because
things have
you
a
speak a bit of French. Do you? Parlez-vous un peu de français?
may we, may we. I was going to go into my Del Boy there, but I'm going to resist. But yes, so because I studied French, Spanish, and Portuguese originally at university, so
Yes.
it's great that I can use those dormant skills.
Bring them back to life again.
Yeah. So I was playing this French marquis aristocrat character, and yeah, we shot up in Scotland, and yeah, wonderful show. Great people on board. The lead guy, Sam Hugh, lovely guy. Very welcoming and made the show. Just made everyone comfortable and very easy to chat to. And those sort of stars on the show, that they sort of set the tone for the atmosphere and everything.
set. Yeah.
I think you could see it when you go on set and the different atmospheres, and I think fundamentally what the stars of the shows or the director, the tone they set sort of trickles down through the pyramid, so to speak, and
Definitely.
obviously that impacts on everybody's experience. But yeah, I had this amazing costume. Whatever period it was aristocrat, I don't know, 17 well, no, it was
It's in the past.
Bonnie Prince Charlie. So when was that? That's 1700s.
1700s maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna ish.
Well, that's
A couple of centuries ago.
We'll check it out. We'll put in the right. We'll put in the right year in the link.
So I had there's all this sort of vintage clothes on it, and they're really heavy.
Yeah.
These aristocrats wore lead in their costume. So
Yeah.
I had this a beautifully sort of velvet embroidered long waistcoat. I had lead in it.
Whoa.
So it was, by the end of the day, my shoulders are hanging down, and you have this wig sort of. They kind of glue it almost into the air with all these grips and ties in. It's like, I just want to scratch my head. You've got it on all day.
Oh God, that sounds like a lot of fun, but also quite challenging, I guess.
I think there's more challenging jobs out there, but it's obviously as an actor, having the roles where you play away from yourself and dress up and particularly of a different epoch than it's nice to do. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I know that I mean, Outlander was that's going back a few years ago, but more recently you have been on Emmerdale.
A couple of times
Yeah.
I've been on. Yeah.
What's your character there? I know that you did play barrister. That's kind of been a bit of a recurring role, right?
What are you saying, Tom? Yeah,
No,
I
nothing,
actually have
nothing.
a legal reel just from all the legal characters. So maybe the universe is telling me something there, spiritually wise, that
Maybe.
my next life I'm going to be a lawyer. So but yeah, I've played
Maybe.
solicitors, defense barristers, prosecution barristers, you name it. You know, If you
Yeah.
have any issues legally, Tom, I'm your man.
Good to know. Good to know. Well, how has it been? How is it working on Emmerdale? Is it I imagine it's quite nice as well. There must be quite
Lovely.
a good atmosphere on set because it's such an old show.
Again, like I was saying with the director and the leads in the show setting the tone, that it's like a family up there, to be honest. And
Yeah.
when you come in as a day player, or you drop and you parachute in for a short period of time, sometimes you don't about fitting in. There's pressure on you. You've got to deliver. These people are doing it 5 days a week. In
Yeah,
a year,
yeah.
month after month. Some of them been there donkey's years, and that show in particular stands out with being very welcoming. Even a few years later come back and they remember me and they know my name, and
Oh, that's really nice.
not just the cast but the crew are really good, and it's a well-oiled machine. They it's like ridiculously, like, amazingly well organized. They're ahead of the game, and if you're thinking I need to ask something, they're sort of there you are. It's
Here's
already
that
answered it.
thing. That's really good. That's
yeah.
really good to hear. Yeah, I imagine it must be so well run at this stage. And they must just have all the correct systems in place.
And again, I'm guessing, but a lot of the people probably worked in there a long time and they know how each other work. So there's a shorthand there.
Yeah.
But the personalities, there's a nice mix. There's no sort of egos and like it's a family.
No egos. That is the key thing not to have on a set, right? You don't want to have any egos.
Or in life.
Or in life. The set could be transferred across to life.
We'll keep going back to spirituality, which is supposed to be the idea of the show, but about transcending ego,
definitely,
the universal.
Definitely. Yeah, we definitely want to take spirituality and mix it in with the arts. Absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit about another show that's just come out actually, which is The Rook.
Yes. When did it come out? It might have come out last year.
Might have come out last year, yeah.
But
it is out.
It is out. I haven't seen it. It wasn't on sort of terrestrial TV.
Okay.
I don't know what it might have been on Amazon or one of those. It wasn't on Netflix.
Wasn't on Netflix.
Could have been Sky or Amazon or something. It was over in the States.
Yeah, but it was released on Stars, of course.
Yeah, Stars. Yeah,
so they probably put it out in the States, maybe.
Oh yeah. Well, Stars is the same network behind Outlander as well. So it would have gone worldwide.
So that's the nice little repetition there, a little pattern there. Is that you must have a good relationship with them?
I don't know. Well, it is nice if a network uses you again, or production company uses again, or indeed the director uses again. So yeah, I think it's a good sign. Whether they made that correlation between who knows, but some sort of validation in there.
Yeah, definitely. And can you tell us a little bit about that, or
sort of it's a supernatural thriller. I had a few scenes in it. I played the husband of Gina McKee, who's one of the main characters in it. So yeah, it's an interesting supernatural series, and really sort of like those sort of productions. There's a lot of money spent on it. The production value is really, really good.
Nice.
But I've yet to see it. I know some of the story. I haven't even seen any of my scenes, but.
Well, check it out. Check out The Rook. It's online somewhere. You will find it online somewhere. We'll find out. We'll find out where it is. And we'll be sure to put a link on this live stream. But we'll be right back after this short break. Please join us then for more art and spirituality. We'll be right back.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292 আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from 99 pounds a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com. RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
We're back. The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim. You know that by now. And I'm here with my special guest, my good friend, Howard Corlett. Howard, you're back on air with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. Thank you, Howard. Yeah, so I mean, it's been such an interesting conversation today. I think we've touched on so many different subjects, but one of the subjects which we started to go into, and then we kind of didn't go into it in massive amount of detail, was your recent study into the field of Tantra and also Shaivism. And I think it's a subject which I think has a lot of relevance in today's world. And yeah, can you talk a little bit about how did you get into Shaivism, for example? And can you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, it's at the same school where I do Tantra actually.
Yeah.
And it basically complements Tantra. It looks at it on a much deeper level. It's pretty sort of intellectual and abstract conceptual. It's like when I first got into it, I was like, whoa, my head's about to explode. But like a lot of things, you just sort of give it time to sort of contemplate over and let it sink in, and it kind of makes sense. And there's a lot of, again, it complements modern science and what's coming out there. But it's basically to look at the esoteric mysteries of creation. Really.
Yeah.
And that's why it sort of complements Tantra as well.
Yeah, I think one thing that I read about Shaivism, now you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it does deal with the manifestation, right? It does deal with
Yeah. So this past year we looked at, they have sort of 36 tattvas they call them, manifestations. So from the origin, which is consciousness, and then all the way down to our experience of manifestation, through our 5 senses.
Yeah.
And the idea is sort of be reabsorbed. So that's what life's about. You reabsorb into the sort of the ether, up there above, and you come back down and sort of
it's almost
manifest.
Almost like a cloud system with cloud and rain.
Cloud, rain, and then in our experience, life experience, we become blocks of ice. So fundamentally, we think we're different. You're a block of ice. I'm a block of ice.
Yeah.
But actually, our true essence, true nature, is we're just the same. We just solidify for this period, and that's the beauty of life. We are all the same. We all unify this unified. We like to think we're all separate, but actually we're just the same. And the thing that prevents us from understanding that is these limitations that we have, and then they talk about that in Shaivism, these kanchukas, these blocks,
Yeah.
which are limited rational brains can't sort of get over, which is why you then need to spend the time meditating, contemplating, expanding your consciousness to try and make those leaps. Because our rational brain is going, no, you're different to me.
The rational brain. We got to. The rational brain goes back to the ego, I think, as well, and it's kind of like this idea of like quieting the ego. Getting the rational brain to just stop for a minute, and almost tricking it, and then,
And it's a discipline. If you with meditation, I've said to friends, it's the one thing you need to do in with your day is meditate. And people say, "Oh, I'm just sitting there. I'm not wasting the time." But the benefits come with long term, and we know how difficult it is, because on my mind always wanders. Yes, it does, because that's how we spent our lives. But the more you do it, the more you get those moments, and you have good days and bad days. It's not like you just improve,
Yeah.
as you know. But just those moments where you have that stillness and your brain isn't sort of thinking about this and thinking about that, and they're the magic moments, and we have to sort of discipline ourselves, because we otherwise we just veer off, and we go back to old unconscious behaviors.
Exactly. And I think that old unconscious way of living is so the 20th century. No, but this is the 21st century, right? So this is 2020, we got to see things in a different way now.
And what Tantra does and what Shaivism does, it provides you with tools to allow you to help expand your consciousness and awaken your soul. In Shaivism, art is very important. The genuine art. So they talk, that genuine art is a spiritual path where it sort of evokes. So sort of spontaneously you go into this sublime realm and this genuine art, and that could be writing, it could be poetry or
Yeah.
literature, it could be dancing, it could be music, it could be films, but there's something about it that transcends you. And they talk about, we have these sort of 9 rasas, these sort of experiences or essences.
Yeah.
It could be pleasure and laughter, sadness, anger, bravery, disgust, or serenity, and genuine art has to sort of encompass at least one of those.
Wow.
And then there's something about it, again, it depends on our openness to it, depends on our how deficient our senses are, whatever, to receiving these
Yeah.
messages, I suppose, that's in the art, that we get this universal feeling. And we've all been at in stadiums, and we're all sharing this moment with the music, or we're watching a play, we're all sharing this experience. There's something,
There's a feeling
that starts at a tangible form, whether it's a word or piece of art, and then it becomes an experience. It's something non-tangible that we all experience at a universal level, and it transcends time. It has an impact on us.
Yeah, I really like that. I really, really like that. I mean, when we were talking about this the other day, it just really started to resonate with me. And I know that resonation is also another point in there, right? It's like
fundamental. So Tantra, that's the basics of it, really. The law of resonance and correspondence, and it links with the 7 main chakras, and they're all energy centers and resonance. So Tantra, Tantra is sort of known for the sexual side and sting, and then last thing, hours and hours and hours. But so it's more famous than it's known. But it's a spiritual path. And obviously, there's benefits of that you get from that side of thing. But you resonate, and the yoga postures that you do is about getting into resonance with the universal energies for each of those different areas.
Interesting. Yeah.
So you like we were talking before, you resonate with what's around you, so you create the right resonances in your center.
Yeah, and I suppose I mean resonation it's vibration as well. It's like you attract the same people that you're. They say that the people that are around you are a mirror of how you are, and I think that goes back to resonance as well.
You see sort of signs, cymatics, where they sort of with sound, they can affect sort of the shape of patterns in water, and like iron filings when they put them. So we know that resonance affects things, and it can be those patterns can be nice, ordered patterns or disorder and chaos,
Yeah,
and we're 70-80% water, whatever we are, so that's happening to us with those resonances around us. And
interesting.
when you go into a place and there's good energy there or bad energy, you're around someone's charismatic. What is that? And
Yeah,
there's an energy there, and this goes back to our limitations and what we've got five senses. I mean, we know snakes can smell much wider spectrum than we can, and dogs and cats and all these have got wider spectrums of vision or smell or take whatever it is.
yeah,
We know it's there even though we can't see it. So that on a much deeper level, this is going on. There's an energy, and we've got these five energy bodies around us.
yeah,
We know the physical body, but then there's the energy body around, and then like your aura, and then the mental body, and supramental, and so on. So
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. There's a lot there. There's a lot
there
there.
is a lot
A lot
I
there.
know, yeah.
But
It's hard to cover in 5 minutes.
but the classic thing I think is like with a leaf, like they did the thing with the leaf where they took away a part of a leaf, and you could still see the energy of the leaf. You could still see it. It was a scientific thing. I'll have to look that up. I
Mm,
can't remember where I saw this, but that's what kind of strikes me now. That my whole point is that you know not everything that we can see, not everything that we can perceive in the physical plane, that doesn't mean that it's not there. It's
mhm,
just these are things which are there. We are vibrating beings.
mhm,
We are spiritual beings having a human experience, as Mr. Wayne Dyers said before he passed away, before he
mhm.
moved on to the next part of his journey.
But you think of like Fibonacci numbers and all those sort of fractals, and how things grow and cells grow. And again,
Fractals.
you spend time looking at nature and seeing the beauty of imagine how it grows, how things replicate shells, and how they turn in spirals.
Yep.
It's and we are just reflections of up above, and that's why, the idea is if you look inside, then you'll understand the bigger picture. It goes back to the Russian doll thing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
you just keep going inside, and that's the answer to the meaning of life. There you are.
The
End,
meaning of
end of the
life.
interview.
We
Come
we
up with the
covered
meaning.
we covered the meaning of life in under an hour, folks.
Yeah,
That's pretty amazing.
well,
Well, I wanted to touch on a film that you've got coming out. It's a film that we're both actually acting in, and it's where we met. We met. God, we must have met. Must be 2 years ago that we met, Howard, when we started working on this thing.
2-3 years ago.
2 or 3 years ago, yeah. And it's coming out on Amazon Prime on, I think it's November. I want to say November 12th. So basically next week. And you've got a great role in it. You play a character. Your name is also Howard in the film.
Hmm.
And I think this film it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different than the kind of normal film
Hmm.
that's out there right now, because it's, the guys, the production company that made it, they're total hippies. They come from the generation of mindfulness, meditation. They're yogis.
Spiritual, yeah, and great that they know their sort of passion of life, and that they're not being held back by the sort of material world, and they're sort
No,
of going out there, and whatever they left LA 25-30 years ago with rucksacks and their instruments, and
yeah,
going off and making films, and somehow make it happen by just sort of meeting people, and relying on synchronicity and things like that, and making films, and with we know how difficult it is to raise finance for independent films, but they somehow make it happen. And yeah, it's very, very sort of different style. It's fun, it's family friendly, it's sort of tongue in cheek, it's light, it's frivolous,
big
but some
time. Nice messages
nice,
in there.
yeah.
Nice messages in there. It's the film with 36 husbands, by the way. Both myself and Howard are actors in it, and
And
it's
36 chapters as well. Maybe there's a link there.
there could be a link there. There could be a link there, and yeah, it's just a fun. It's
Yeah,
a fun family film, I would say, with a nice message in it.
yeah. It's definitely it's different to sort of as well. A lot of modern films are sort of fast paced and sort of quick camera angles and change. It's sort of it's a film that's to sit down in, and that's like we'd say, having more stillness, having more time, and sort of enjoy, and
More contemplation, and actually in the film they do use a type of kung fu, which is
yeah.
yeah, which is very much centered in with the being tuned in and connecting to the higher and this kind of
Hmm.
thing. So yeah, it's a a non-violent type of kung fu. So
which I didn't do.
no.
I was taking advantage. That certainly wasn't my character, kung fu character.
Howard
I was
Howard
a bit
was
of a
not.
hapless soul, isn't he?
Interestingly, he is a martial artist, but no, you weren't doing any martial arts in the film. I was also not doing any martial arts in the film, but the three main characters, they do
Yeah,
martial
it's a
arts.
a female led film.
It's a female-led film.
Spy sort of, and traveling around the world. I mean, you shot that in various locations, didn't you?
Yeah, it was shot in Australia, in Germany, in France, and over in LA as well.
Mm.
So yeah, so check it out. Howard, you're brilliant in it, I have to say. You've got a very funny character.
He's funny, isn't he? It was fun to play,
Kind of hapless, a little bit hapless.
Yeah, somewhere yeah. Well, you see, have a look. See.
Yeah, check it out. Check it out. It'll be on Amazon. It's going to be on Amazon from November 12th, I think, and it's available on Apple TV at the moment, in the USA and Germany, and a few other countries around Europe as well. So you can check it out. 36 Husbands by Bright Blue Gorilla. Check it out. Well, I have to say, it's sad to say, really, but we've come to the end of our show. Come to our end of our time. I know. Come to the end of our time that we can talk to Howard for. But it's been such a pleasure just talking to you today. Thanks for coming.
No,
in.
I always love chatting with you. We often sit down, chew the cud, and set the world to rights. And I'm inspired by you as well. A lot of things that you do and talents that you have, and I think many levels we sort of resonate. And you inspire me as well. So always great to chat.
Howard, thanks so much for coming in. It's check Howard out. Check out your website as well, howardcorlett.com.
I think that's my sort of social media handle. I think.
Is it?
Not that I use social media a lot. I know I should do more.
Yeah,
but,
fair enough. Well, I think
I'm up there.
We might have tagged you on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
So you can follow Howard on Twitter. What's your Twitter? Do you tweet?
Not really.
Okay.
I kind of occasionally, maybe more recently, Instagram. Note to self: must do more.
Yeah, are people on the socials? Some people are on the socials. I don't really know if everyone's on them or not. But anyway, I have to say, big thank you to Howard for coming in again today. And we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back after this short break for more art and spirituality. Hope you can join us then. Thanks so much.
Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট is 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist, or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
The Art and Spirituality Show with myself, Dominic Anglim. Well, it's been great having Howard in the studio with me today. I have to say, it's been so nice. Yeah, so today we were talking to Howard Corlett, film and TV actor and motion capture performer. And yeah, it was a very interesting conversation. Howard, of course, he's been in the business for so long, making him sound super old right now. But he's been in the business for so long. He actually, interestingly, he was he originally started it off, and he originally got a degree in something else, travel and tourism, and services and management. That's what he originally got his degree in, and he was working overseas. He was working in the tourism industry. He would go overseas, and he would organize booking of hotels and organize different tourism trips. And then he began working out in España, out in Spain, and he was working on the cabaret scene, which is a great scene to be involved in. Live theater cabaret scene. He's working as a rep out there in España, in Spain. And it was while he was out there that he rediscovered dance. And dance, yeah, dance is it's an interesting activity to get you to reconnect with yourself, to get you off the beta wavelengths and to reconnect with the alpha wavelengths. Dancing. Does anyone like to dance? Do we have any dancers out there? I'd love to hear from you if you do. I'm realizing now that I never actually gave out the number while Howard was in the studio. Sorry about that, Howard. But if you want to send a message in and ask me any questions about the show today, you can do that on 078 524 73473, and you can give a message. You can send a message into to that number as well, and I can answer the message by reading it and then just answer it. So I'm looking now and seeing that there is in fact a missed call here. Did that come in today? No, it didn't come in today. Okay, that's good. That's good. Showing my professionalism here. I'm showing my professionalism. But it's yeah, he was working. He was doing the rapping out there in Spain, and that's when he rediscovered his passion, his love for dance. Now, dance. I'd love to know. I'd love to hear from you if you're a dancer. Any dancers out there today? Do you like to dance? Dance for me is definitely one of my passions. It's something I've loved doing since I was a child. Something I probably could have taken some ballet classes when I was a child, if it had been that way, I guess. But I guess, yeah, when I was growing up, it wasn't really a done thing that guys would be doing ballet classes. Guys did the football, and my sisters went to the ballet. But I would have loved to have done ballet as a child. But it strikes me when Howard was talking about his experience, and it reignited his love for dance, and he went back to the UK, and that's when he started getting involved in musical theatre, and then that led on to him then eventually going back into to well going into acting for the first time, really. So yeah, he has so many credits. You can check out his website, howardcorlett.com, for more information on the different things that been involved in. You can also look him up on IMDb. You can check him out on there as well. But such a nice guy, such a nice guy. Now we've had some bad news today. Well, not today, but in the last couple of days. You probably heard about this on the news. We had the death of the Scottish actor, Mr. Sean Conroy. Yeah, Mr. Sean Conroy passed away, 90 years old. So he had a great life, a very, very good life. And I was looking him up, and I was doing some research, and I found out that he started making films. He made his first film in the 50s, right? And then near enough, not necessarily every year, but there was definitely like years where he had like a good few years in a row where he made films. Some years he made more than one film, and some year he only made one film. But he was like steadily working from kind of like the 50s, the 60s. So in the 60s, he started doing the James Bond films. He did the James Bond films in the 60s. He made another one in the 70s. And then he made his last James Bond film, I think it was in 1983, I want to say. I may need to check that date. But yeah, he was constantly doing stuff. So he had such a long and prosperous career as an actor. Also was a very patriotic man, very patriotic when it came to Scotland. And one of the tattoos that he got on his body was, I think I said Scotland forever, Scotland forever. So very patriotic there. And yeah, a very interesting life. 90 years old. That is some age, isn't it? What age would you like to live to be in this physical realm that we find ourselves in? What age would you like to live to be? 90 is that's pretty decent. That's a that's a pretty decent age right there. 90. Yeah, I mean, I think if I could choose, I think I would probably go for 100. I think I'd like to be 100. I think 100 is decent. I was born in 1980, so if I live to be 100, that'll be 2080. Which I like to think by 2080, what will have happened? Probably would have gone to Mars at that point. I'd say so. I'd say we'll have gone to Mars. Elon Musk, he's putting the plans out there at the moment. He's talking about going to Mars. I don't know if anyone follows Elon Musk, but he's quite an interesting guy. This guy, yeah, he was one of the original founders of PayPal, and he, of course, started Tesla car, the electric car, and he then went on to make SpaceX, which, by the way, was the first. I think it was the first private company that was started supplying spaceships, rockets to NASA. That's quite an achievement. And now, they actually gave the likes of like Lockheed Martin, what are the other ones? Definitely, they gave the bigger aerospace companies a run for their money. They actually developed the first rocket that could fly and then land itself and be reused. So they actually developed the first reusable rockets. That is pretty massive. And yeah, they're talking. Elon Musk at the moment, I think quite recently, he's in the process of launching his first spaceship for his first rocket for the Mars exhibition. And he's saying that when he gets to Mars, that they're going to follow their own laws when they get there. He said that no earthly government will be able to have a say in what laws will take place on Mars because it's another planet. It's another planet. I would definitely, I would like to think in my lifetime that we will get to another planet, that we will get to Mars. What's your opinion on it? Were you ever interested in space travel as a child or these days? Did you ever want to go to the moon? Did you ever want to go to the moon? Did you ever want to take one of these spaceships that goes up into you can do the I know that Richard Branson was talking about. He had the Virgin one, the Virgin, I want to say Virgin Atlantic, not sure the name, but he definitely had a spaceship program which was going to take people up into the atmosphere of the Earth. So yeah, love to know your opinion on that. We'll be right back after this short break. Please join us then.
Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, 24 hours, and let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
We're back. The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim. And my guest today was Mr. Howard Corlett. He joined with me in the studio. Television and film actor, and also a motion capture performer. And Howard was saying that he didn't ever really do any training in motion capture. He just found himself in it. He began working in it years ago, and he kind of learned on the job. So yeah, any budding actors out there, maybe you're thinking that you might like to work in motion capture, get involved. Get involved. There's some great motion capture courses out there. I just attended a fantastic motion capture run by a motion capture company called Performance Captured. I think they're performancecaptured.com. Let me check that for you. We'll check that out in the links that we post. And they do a motion capture course, and that's run by Neil Newbaum, who's a very famous motion capture performer. And yeah, the great courses that they run there with the Performance Captured Academy UK. So you can check them out. I'll be sure to put a post in there. So yeah, sad news about Sean Connery passing away. 90 years old. 90 years old. So he did have a pretty good life, you could say. 90 years old. I always think about life in terms of numbers. So, for example, if 100 is like 10, then, you know, when you're alive, you're in the different numbers. So, for example, you know, when you're in your 20s, you're in your twos. So, when you're in your 40s, you're in your fours. So, you know, you're still, I kind of, I like looking at it that way because it kind of lays out a whole map of life, and it makes life seem longer, which is nice. And it makes it also seem like, you know, when you are in your fours, like I'm in my fours now, when you are in your fours, it you know, you're not that old because you're only in your fours, you know. And if 100 is like 10, then when you're in your fours, you're not even halfway there. So that is if you live to be 100. So yeah, what age would you like to live to be? I think I'd like to live to be 100. I think that would be a pretty good age. You know, obviously you still want to have your faculties at that point. And if you don't, then yeah, maybe I think when you lose your mind, when you no longer have your mind, that's probably the time. That's probably the best time to go. Howard was talking about the art of dying, which is a Shaivism teaching. And yeah, I think that's something that we could definitely definitely do some studying the art of dying. It's an interesting subject, the art of dying. Because I guess there could be a good art to it. There could be a good way to do it without fear, to be able to just do it in a more of a mindful way. So yeah, that's something that you can definitely look into. Now we're going into another lockdown. It's happening tomorrow. I'm still going to come to the studio. You're still going to be able to see this face. How happy are you? And I'll still be doing my shows, but my guests in the coming weeks will be guests that I'll have to talk to via phone. That's okay. And I was doing a little bit of research. I was looking into some different online classes that you can do while we go into the next lockdown. I found a really cool website actually, which has got loads of really interesting stuff on it. It's called stylelist.co.uk, and then if you put in stylelist.co.uk /free online classes, there's loads of classes on there that you can attend for free. Some really interesting stuff. And I stumbled upon this one particular class, which is called sophrology. Sophrology. I've never heard of that before. You can probably tell by my pronunciation of the word. Sophrology. Never ever heard of that before. So I looked it up, and it's a practice. It's a practice of basically you're doing like exercises. I guess that's a type. There must be a type of yoga in there as well, but you're using particular body postures, breathing, movement, and positive visualizations. So you got breathing, body postures, and positive visualizations. Sounds really good, right? And yeah, if you want to check it out, I looked at the website. The website is, if you go to Linktree, so that's like link link, and then tr.ee / b Sophro London. I'm going to spell that for you. It's BESOPHRO London. B Sophro London. Never heard of this before. Sophrology. Have you heard of sophrology before? Let me know if you have, because I certainly never had sophrology. Never heard of that before. Seems like a pretty cool thing. Looked it up. I was doing a little bit of research on it, and interestingly, it's run by a lady called Dominic and Anticlo, Dominic Anticlo. Her surname is spelled Antiglio, Dominic Anticlio. So yeah, check her out. Seems like a pretty cool practice. And this is just one of the examples, by the way, that was on this website, this stylelist.co.uk /free online courses. I said classes before, but it was actually courses. So that's pretty cool. So you can check that out. I was also in my lockdown. I used to live in Madrid, and one of the things that I got involved in when I lived in Madrid was dance. It was something that I returned to. I was mentioning that I always loved to dance. It was something that I was always really interested in as a child, and I don't know, I never really, I didn't go to any classes or anything like that. I would have liked it done, but it didn't happen because I was a guy, and I guess just wasn't really something that guys did in the 80s in Ireland and Dublin, so it didn't happen. But I remember hearing about this class in Madrid run by an American yoga teacher. Originally, I started going to her yoga classes. Her name is Fiona Van Tyne, is her name. Hi, Fiona. And I started attending her classes first. She has a fitness company called Art. Let me see if I get this right. Artio Fitness. ARTIO. Artio Fitness. ARTIO Fitness. And she has this online, she's basically in the lockdown, she started doing online classes, and she has a YouTube channel that you can check out. It's ARTIO Fitness. And basically, she has a bunch of classes on there that you can attend for free if you like. She also has a PayPal link in there, so you can, if you enjoy the class, you can just send her some money via PayPal for the class, which I think is a really cool idea because it just opens up a way for people to support each other in these unusual times. Now, I remember I was originally going to a yoga class with her. She is a hatha yoga teacher. So I was originally doing yoga with her. And then she was doing a Zoom class. Is it Zoom? No, Zumba. I don't know where I got Zoom from. I'm thinking about online communication. And she didn't do a Zoom class. She did a Zumba class. Do we have any Zumba practitioners out there? Any Zumba practitioners? If you want to give a call in today and ask me any questions, the number is 075 2473 473. You can get me, you can send me a message. You can also comment on the Facebook Live if you like. You can send us a tweet at Relaks Radio. You can also send me a tweet if you want. It's at EnlightenDom. At EnlightenDom. Enlighten me, please. Enlighten me. Yeah, so I was started attending this Zumba class with her, and it was a great class. It was a really fun class. We were learning like bachata, salsa, a lot of different Latino dances to upbeat pop music. There was some really fast numbers in there. Now anyone who's ever done Zumba will tell you that you sweat your ass off. You're completely out of breath. You learn all these cool dances, and then by the end of the whatever it is, hour or an hour and a half, you just feel amazing. So it's a really fun way to get your exercise in. And so anyway, I was attending this Zumba class. I was having a grand old time. And then she said, "Oh, I'm going to start a new class, and it's going to be like Zumba, except it will be slower." And I thought, okay, that sounds good because obviously the cardio workout can be quite intense. So I went along to that first class, the slow down version of Zumba, and we started the class. And as the class was starting, as we were doing the first dance postures and dance steps, I realized that we were going to be learning ballet. Yeah, we're going to be learning ballet. If you were a fly on the wall in that class that day to have seen my face, you probably would have wet yourself from laughter because to say that I was out of my comfort zone would have been a huge understatement. But nonetheless, I stayed in the class and I began to do it. And what was great about that class, by the way, that class is called Ballet Burn, and it's run by Arturo Fitness by Fiona Van Tyne out in Madrid. And it was such a fun class because what she would do is we were doing exercises. So there was cardio involved and there was toning exercises involved for your abdomen and things like that. But alongside of that, we were also learning ballet. Yeah, we're also learning ballet, and Fiona actually choreographed these different dances that she would teach us that we would do during the class. And oh god, I did that. I did that class for a year. Absolutely loved it, loved it, loved it. And it actually, when I was writing one of my first short films, I asked Fiona to do the dance choreography for that film, and she did. And we used some of her dance routines in that film. And that film is called Heartbeat, a short dance film that's available on my Vimeo. You can watch it for free. Check it out there. It's brilliant, brilliant, some brilliant dance moves in there. And so, yeah, when I moved out of Madrid in 2018, I looked for something. I was looking for something similar like Fiona's class when I was living in Berlin, and I couldn't find anything. There was nothing because what Fiona had created was something which was completely unique. So, in many ways, I was kind of happy when the lockdown started because it put me back online again, and I started looking up. I was like, oh, where can I do a dance class which was similar to that dance class that I attended in Madrid? And I found out that she's doing them online on her YouTube channel. So there's probably she's I think there's probably like 4 or 5 ballet burn classes up there. She also teaches ballet bar, and she also does some other fitness classes. And yeah, check it out. It's her YouTube channel is Arturo Fitness. Check it out. You can go on and you can attend the classes for free if you can't afford to pay anything. She's totally cool with that. Obviously not all the time, but she does say, like, if you can send her something, do. She's got her PayPal on there, and yeah, you can just go on and do a class. Really, really good fun. Really, really good fun. So that's one of my top tips for a fun dance class that you can start doing, maybe even this week. Maybe we can start doing it this week as we go into another lockdown from tomorrow, from mañana. Another really cool online classes which are available is by a different lady who I also know from Madrid. I used to attend her classes as well, and she is actually a Pilates teacher. She teaches Pilates, and she does Pilates bar, as well as other types of Pilates classes. Her company is called Fresh to Death, Fresh to Death Fitness.com. Fresh to Death Fitness. And she's got a YouTube channel as well. You can check her out, fresh to death fitness.com. Check her out on YouTube. She's got a bunch of classes up there. She's got whole workouts up there, which are some of them are like 47 minutes long. So you're gonna get right into it. And yeah, really, really good, really hard. I would say very difficult. I'm really selling it. I'm like, no, but they are difficult. They are challenging, but you need to take it at your own pace. And great opportunity to get into the present moment, get mindful, get into the body, get out of the mind, and check in with yourself and be loving and be kind to yourself for 47 minutes. Highly recommend it. So check out her YouTube channel, Fresh to Death Fitness. That's going on there. I was really interested talking to Howard today when he started talking about tantra, because tantra is something which, I mean, what do we know Tantra from? What do we actually know it from? If you think about it, where do we know Tantra from? When we think about Tantra, we only ever think about Sting, right? We're going to think about Sting, and we're going to think about the whole connection that it has, of course, with sex, right? So we've got the whole Tantra sex thing, okay? But interestingly, I was looking it up, and they were saying I got onto this pretty cool website, which is a website called Healthline. So you can go on there and check them out. It's at healthline.com. You can check them out. And it's interesting because they're basically saying, like, okay, we know that tantra is mainly associated with sex and stuff like that. But they're saying that if you think about tantra synonymously with sex, that's like saying that it's like associating the crust uh, of an apple pie, and just saying that, like, the crust is a part of an apple pie, but it's not the whole thing, right? And it's exact same concept when you think about tantra. Okay, so the a really, really interesting subject. We were starting to touch on it a little bit in our show today with Howard. We didn't get to go into a lot of detail, so I thought it might be nice to give you a little bit more detail about it. So I've gone on to healthline.com, and I've found out a little bit more information for you. And yeah, here's a little bit of information that they say. They say, what exactly is tantra? Okay, so at its core, tantra is about connecting with your own energy to establish a deeper understanding of yourself. While some of that energy is sexual, not all of it is. Like the secret ingredient in Grandma's apple pie recipe, the exact origins of tantra are hard to pin down. Okay, so they say that countless Tantra texts were lost during the numerous times throughout history when Tantra was being driven underground, and other Tantra teachings were never committed to writing at all and only transmitted through word of mouth. No one knows exactly when Tantra began. Some believe that the ancient tradition began around 500 AD, while other people say that it actually began in the 16th century. So that's a big difference there in those years. While Tantra has evolved over the last 1,000 years, Tantra is still first and foremost a personal practice of liberation, a technique that allows you to use energy and go deeper into yourself and experience enlightenment. Huh, nice. I like that. I'm going to read that again. It's a technique that allows you to use energy and go deeper into yourself and experience enlightenment. Wow. Who doesn't want to experience enlightenment? Say, pretty much everyone, right? What does it have to do with yoga and other meditative practices? You might be asking. Well, Healthline has got the answer. They say, good question. Yoga is Sanskrit for oneness and is anything that connects you to yourself. You know that yoga is Sanskrit. Did you guys know that? Were you aware of that? I was not aware of that. Sanskrit. Sanskrit, of course, one of the original languages. It's a very, very, very old language. Interestingly, I was talking to a friend of mine, Brian Lynham. Call you out there, Brian. We were talking the other night about Sanskrit. We were talking about Gaelic. Now, I'm an Irish man, and Gaelic is my native language. And we were talking about Gaelic, and we were saying that it's a very old language, and it's not widely spoken. There are parts of Ireland that do speak Gaelic, but it's not as widely spoken as English is, for example. So yeah, and there was that. What actually came up in conversation was that Gaelic has got those words in Gaelic which have got a similar sound to some Sanskrit names, words. So there's words in Gaelic that have a similar sound to some Sanskrit. Interesting, right? I really like that connection there. So yeah, if we have any Gaelic listeners, Accardi, Fáilte Roth, Accardi, you're very welcome, friends. If you have any Gaelic listeners, if you want to give me, by the way, if you want to give me a call in, if you're interested in what I'm talking about today, I was talking to Howard Corlett for the first part of the show, and now I'm just talking a little bit about some online classes that you can do. I was talking about ballet burn, and now I'm talking about Tantra. I've gone into this healthline.com website to give you a little bit more information about Tantra. But yeah, if you want to give a call in, you can give a call in. The number is 078 You can give me a text if you don't want to call. You can also comment on this Facebook stream that I'm sure we got going somewhere. And yeah, I might not reply to you straight away, but I can reply to you after the show. So you will get an answer eventually. So yeah, this is interesting. Yoga is a Sanskrit word for oneness. Hmm. And is anything that connects you to yourself. Wow. Because Tantra is about becoming aware of and whole with oneself, Tantra can be yoga, she says. Tantric yoga weaves together many yogic and meditative practices to help you get as deep an understanding of yourself as possible so that you can accept that self. Tantra yoga may include chanting, breath work, yoga poses, chakra work, and meditation. Oh, okay, that's interesting. So that's it. I pretty much would know about all these different areas. So maybe I have been practicing tantra yoga without even knowing it. Maybe you have too. That's interesting, isn't it? So chanting. Anybody done any chanting? I did a little bit of chanting when I was doing some yoga. Um, for actually when we were making 36 Husbands, the producers of that film, they loved chanting, and we would always meditate at the start of every day. We would always meditate at the start of the day and at the end of the day, and we'd always do a bit of chanting. And it was kind of cool. Yeah, it's really kind of cool. Breath work, breath work. Yeah, breath work. I definitely do breath work when I do my meditation, and just to get into the present moment, to be aware of my breathing. And so I guess I do breath work as well when I do yoga. Yoga poses, of course. What yoga poses do you know? What yoga poses do you use? Do you practice yoga? Do we have any yoga practitioners listening today? I've been doing yoga. I started doing yoga when I studied theater. Actually, I didn't even know it was yoga. Our mime teacher, Sharon, who was a brilliant teacher, she was actually one of the original, one of the last students of Marcel Marceau, famous French mime artist. She's a brilliant teacher, and when we were doing our warm up exercises for mime, she used to teach us yoga. I didn't know it was yoga. I wasn't aware it was yoga. So I was doing that for a year. And then fast forward, I mean, that would have been 2001, that kind of time, I guess. And then fast forward years later, I remember I had some really bad back problems. I was teaching in a school at the time, and I was struggling with some back issues. I went back to yoga. Went back to yoga then, mainly because of the back problems. The back problems went away, and I kept going to that yoga class, and that would have been 2013, that kind of time. And yeah, I never looked back. Never looked back from there on in. And some of the yoga poses that I think are classic that everyone knows. We got the downward facing dog, right? That's classic. Everyone knows that one. We got the sun salutations. Yeah, are you familiar with those? Yeah, they're quite famous. Those ones. You got the warrior pose. What else? You got the child's pose. The child's pose is a nice one actually. If you're yeah, if you're feeling like you've done a lot of if you've had a really busy day, just going into the child's pose is very relaxing. I find it very relaxing. What about chakra work? Chakra work. Now, chakra work. What do I think about chakras? Are people aware of chakras? Are you guys using your chakras? Are you aware of them? Do you use them? I'm definitely aware of my chakras. Am I using them? I'm I'm aware of them. Am I using them? I guess I could. I guess I'm not totally using them totally consciously. I guess I could be more aware. I know I'm aware of this one. I do use that one in meditation. I put the focus up there when I meditate, just beyond the eyebrows. But yeah, I guess I could do a bit more chakra work. Meditation, yeah, I'm doing the meditation already, so that's pretty good. Tantric meditation teacher Hilary Jackendoff with Yoga Wake Up in Los Angeles, California, says it's an awesome way to explore Tantra without a partner, and without having sex, or to spend time with yourself. Interesting. Now she says, how is this different from Tantra? How is this different from Tantra in sexual activity? Well, Tantra yoga and tantric sex are from two different branches of Tantra. Interesting. Traditional Tantra is divided into red Tantra and white Tantra. White Tantra is the solo practice which incorporate yoga and meditation. Red Tantra is the sexual practice. So that's interesting. I didn't know that. While both use sexual energy, the goal of the two practices is different. The goal of red tantra is to create a deeper bond with a partner, while white tantra is about creating a deeper bond with yourself. Interesting. While the Western practice of tantra might suggest otherwise, you actually can't have red tantra without white tantra, according to Piper. Red Tantra is your opportunity to bring everything you've learned in your solo practice into an exchange with a partner. Makes sense. Makes sense. So, yeah, what's the point of the practice? You might be asking. The point of the practice, they say, two words: spiritual liberation. Okay. This isn't about toning the body or getting a workout. Good to know. Tantric yoga is about being purposeful with your breath, embodiment, and making love with your own body. Okay, that sounds like a bit of a joke. I'm not going to make a comment on that though. We'll just take it as it says. Experts say a regular tantric practice can help you reap the following benefits. You ready for this? Reduced stress, anxiety, or depression. Cool. Better understanding of and love for oneself. Always good. Improved sleep quality. 100%. I love getting improved sleep quality. boosted confidence, and okay, that's I'm not going to read that one out. We know where that one was going, and improved quality of life, and yeah, so these are all really positive things. I think we gotta look a little bit more into this. We have to look a little bit more into this. This is Tantra Yoga. I'm giving you the rundown from healthline.com, giving you the rundown on Tantra because Howard Corlett was talking about Tantra in today's show. Yeah, we're going to be right back after this short break. Please join us then for more art and spirituality. We'll be right back.
Relax Radio. Whoa, Relax Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292 আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business by advertising on Relax Radio.
It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. It's time for a show on Relax Radio. It talks about me and you. So listen to us, yeah, 24 hours. And let the happiness come to you on Relax Radio. Tune in to Relax Radio.
It has been too long. No one has taken the initiative to know who you are and what you do. Well, Relax proudly presents Relax Media to unite and expose all media-related personalities under one umbrella. If you are an artist or maybe you're looking for one, look no further. Log on to www.relaxmedia.com, RELAKS media.com. In return, you get a free webpage and exposure to wider fan appreciation and contacts. Also, optional personal manager. Don't delay.
Relax Radio.
We're back. The Art and Spirituality Show. I'm Dominic Anglim. I am an artist, and I'm also spiritual. So yeah, that's why I wanted to start this show. Being an artist and being a spiritual being, I thought, hey, this would be a great combination for a show. And what a show we've had today. It's been so interesting having my fellow actor and friend, Howard Corlett, was in the studio today, and he was talking all about Shaivism and Tantra, and that's why we were talking about Tantra before the break. Howard is a TV and film actor, and so you can check him out on howardcorlett.com. And yeah, I was talking before the break about Tantra. I was just giving you some information on it, because it's not all about the associations that we have with it concerning Sting and concerning what we get up to in the bedroom. It's not all about that. It's also about connecting with yourself and just spiritual liberation, which is a pretty important subject, I think. And yeah, who knew that the yoga translation from Sanskrit, that's a really interesting one. Gotta read that out again. This yoga translation for Sanskrit. Let's have it. Yeah, it was so I did not know that. Did not know that information. So it's been quite informative. Very informative. You can tell that the information is stuck in my head, given that I have to go back and check it again. So, yeah, I'm reading out this information, but clearly it hasn't stuck in my head. So I need to go back and find what it said again. Find it. Can I find it on the fly? Yes, I can. Yoga is a Sanskrit for oneness. You want to get to oneness? Yeah. So isn't that interesting? Now, let's change topics a little bit. Let's change topics. This is my sound that I'm gonna do from now on for changing topics. Really interesting online movement has been taking place in the world of online petitions. Do you get involved in online petitions? Are you a signer of online petitions? I'd love to know if you are. One online petition that I've been involved in. They're a group. They're a group of organizers of online petitions, and one group that I've been involved in for a number of years. And when I say involved in, I'm a supporter of, as in like I share their I share their online petitions, and they've done a lot. They've really done a lot. Is this group called Avaz? Okay, are you familiar with Avaz? Avaz, yeah, Avaz, which means voice. Avaz stands for voice in many different languages. It means voice in many different European and Middle Eastern languages. This is such a huge movement of people. Avaz, they are a movement of over 65 million people. That again, they're a movement of over 65 million people. That is that's pretty serious, isn't it? 65 million people. I remember when I first heard about Avaz, I read an online petition that they had for something, and it was something to do with climate change, I think. And this is going back maybe around 2014, 2015, that kind of time. And it was the people climate marches, the climate change marches, which were taking place around 2014, 2015, that kind of time. And I remember joining up with the movement then, like saying I would like share their petitions and stuff like that. I think at that stage they were like a movement of about, I don't know, like only a few million people. It certainly wasn't 65. So they've definitely been growing over time, and they've had some really fantastic victories. Big victory that they had was that they were they basically they were involved in the beginning of the end of fossil fuels. They were involved in saving a free and open internet for all. I'm just reading out some of their victories here. They were involved in bigger and biggest, creating massive marine reserves in the sea. They got Monsanto on the run. Remember Monsanto? Those that huge company that was attempting to control the seeds and was involved with with a lot of cases. They had their Roundup weed killer, which was linked to cancer and things like that. So yeah, they were involved in getting those guys on the run, defeating the Murdoch mafia. Ooh, I'm saying this on air. So they were involved in that. Kudos to that. They were involved in mobilizing millions in aid and fast. They've done so many different things. They were involved in anti-corruption revolution in Brazil, and something I was touching on just a moment ago, saving bees from killer pesticides. So that was something that Monsanto were involved in. So yeah, they've had some serious victories, opening our hearts to refugees, which is such an important subject. John Cleary was talking about that on his show the other day. Hey, John. And yeah, so, and then another thing that they were involved in was protecting forests, the lungs of the planet. So deforestation is something which is just so important, and something that I definitely want to talk on more, and probably in one of my next shows. Folks, we're out of time. We are out of time, but just to tell you, Avaz is a global web movement bringing people-powered politics to decision-making everywhere. So that is exactly what they do. They empower millions of people from all walks of life to take action on pressing global, regional, and national issues, from corruption and poverty to conflict and climate change. And they say that their model of internet organizing allows thousands of individual efforts, however small, to be rapidly combined into a powerful collective force. So yeah, I think the power of collective, guys, the power of collective. We are stronger when we unite, when we get together and we can do like a people powered change. There's a lot to be said for that. Well, I think we're just out of time now. We're just out of time. So I want to just quickly talk about my guest for next week, next Monday. I'm going to have, wow, this is quite exciting. I'm going to have a former member of Iron Maiden. Yeah, remember Iron Maiden? Yeah, I'm going to have a former member of Iron Maiden, Mr. Tony Moore. Mr. Tony Moore is going to be joining me probably via phone in accordance with the lockdown rules. So I'll be talking with Tony Moore on Monday, and we'll be talking about music and everything that he's involved in. He also runs the Bedford venue, and so we'll be talking all about that. And then on Wednesday, I'm going to be joined via phone as well by an English comedian, who I just met this year at a comedy audition, and that's Gabby Gillick. She's going to be joining me via phone as well, and we'll be talking all things comedy. So yeah, join me. I'll be on air next week, next Monday, 2 p.m. or thereabouts. It might be 2:05, but we'll definitely be on air. And yeah, you can come back. You can join me for more art and spirituality. I want to say a big thank you again to my guest today, Howard Corlett. Be sure to check him out. He's got a new movie coming out, which I also happen to be in as well, which is besides the point. But that's 36 Husbands. That's coming out on November 12th on Amazon. And yeah, you can check him out. Check him out on Emmerdale. He's also in The Rook. And yeah, he's a fantastic actor. You can check him out on there. So we'll be back next week. Please join us then for more art and spirituality. I'm Dominic Anglim. Thanks so much.
Relaks Radio. Whoa, Relaks Radio.
আপনি হয়তোবা জানেন না যে রেডিও অ্যাডভার্টাইজমেন্ট ইজ 4 times more powerful than any other media. রিল্যাক্স রেডিওতে যদি অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করতে চান তাহলে আমাদেরকে আজই যোগাযোগ করুন on 020-7474-9292. আমাদের সাথে অ্যাডভার্টাইজ করুন from £99 a month. Increase your business